F used to run into her father's arms whenever he returned home, laughing as he lifted her high into the air. But now, at just 5 years old, she avoided his touch. When he entered the room, she shrunk into the corner, gripping her doll tightly. She no longer played with the other children, and the sparkle in her eyes had dimmed. Something was wrong, and her mother, Ebony, could feel it deep in her bones. At first, Ebony thought F was just sick or tired, but the child's behavior only got worse. She would wake up crying in the middle of the night, whispering things Ebony could not understand. And when her father, Bode, reached out to touch her, she flinched like a frightened animal. Men returned from the fields, their faces covered in sweat and dust. Among them was Bode, a respected man in the village, known for his strong work ethic and quiet nature. No one suspected the dark thoughts that lurked in his mind. Inside his small hut, his 5-year-old daughter, F, sat quietly in a corner, hugging her doll. She had stopped playing with the other children, and her once bright eyes now carried a dull sadness. Her mother, Ebony, had noticed the change, but she could not understand what was wrong. F had always been a happy child, full of energy and laughter. But now, she barely spoke, flinching whenever her father was near. She avoided his touch, even when he reached out to carry her on his lap, as he used to. Something was wrong, and Ebony's heart told her she needed to find out what. That night, as Bode sat outside with the other men, Ebony knelt beside her daughter and gently stroked her hair. F, my love, tell me what is wrong. Why have you been so quiet? F did not answer at first. She squeezed her doll tightly, her small fingers gripping it like it was the only thing keeping her safe. Then, in a voice so soft it was almost a whisper, she said, I don't like it when Papa touches me. Ebony froze. Her heart pounded in her chest. She wanted to believe she had misunderstood, but the fear in her daughter's eyes told her the truth. Where does he touch you? She asked, her voice shaking. F hesitated, then pointed to herself. Ebony's stomach twisted, and her hands trembled as she pulled her daughter close. She felt sick. Her own husband, F's father, had done something unspeakable. That night, Ebony could not sleep. She lay awake, her mind racing. She knew she could not stay silent. She had heard stories of women who ignored the signs, who stayed quiet out of fear, and their children suffered for it. She would not let that happen to F. Before dawn, she made her decision. She wrapped F in a cloth, carried her on her back, and walked to the house of the village chief. The chief, an old but wise man, listened carefully as Abeni spoke, his face growing darker with every word. By the time she finished, he stood up and called for the village elders. Word spread quickly. By morning, a crowd had gathered. The people of Ojowa were shocked. How could Bod, a man they trusted, harm his own child? Mothers held their children close, fathers clenched their fists in anger, and elders shook their heads in disappointment. The chief sent for the village guards. They stormed Bod's home and dragged him out before the people. He denied everything, shouting that Abeni was lying, that she wanted to ruin him. But when F was brought forward, her small voice telling the truth, the village turned against him. "You are a disgrace," one elder spat. "No man should ever harm his child." The village did not believe in handling crimes in secrecy. The matter was taken to the police in the nearby town, where Bod was arrested and charged. His punishment was swift, a long prison sentence that would ensure he never hurt another child again. In the days that followed, the village elders gathered everyone and spoke about the importance of protecting children. They urged mothers and fathers to be watchful, to listen to their children, and to speak out against abuse. Silence, they said, was the enemy of justice. Abeni and F did not have to suffer alone. The women of the village surrounded them with love and support. F slowly found happiness again, knowing that she was safe and that her mother had fought for her. From that day on, the village of Ojowa became a place where no child suffered in silence. The people understood that protecting the innocent was not just a mother's duty, it was the responsibility of the whole community.